Inspired by the news that there is a junior college transfer named General Booty.
It's amazing.
Who is playing at Oklahoma. General Booty, that's his name. Let's do a draft of the all-time best football names, not including General Booty, which may already be the best.
I know, it is. That's amazing. I'm amazed. I really am.
Is General his given name, or is it a nickname?
I'm not sure. That's sure I do. I'm very intrigued by that.
It's his given name.
Yeah.
I was thinking, did they start calling him Captain Booty and upgraded?
Right.
I don't know. Anyway,
I know there's so many things I could say, but I don't feel like getting fired today, and I won't do it. All right. All right.
Oh, you just said shitload.
Well, that's a good word. That's not that bad. This is going to go down perverted comments and whatever else.
All right. Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
I don't know how I can't just start off with Bronko Nagurski. Again, it's one of those names, the old Chicago Bear. It just smells, hears, listens like football. Bronko Nagurski running through the line against the New York Giants and running over people. Look at Bronko Nagurski. I just love the name, so I'm taking him first.
That was one of my first ones on there, and I'm glad, football historian, that you didn't get caught up in some more recent name. That Bronko Nagurski, it just screams out football.
Yes.
That is football. Another one that, and this was the first one that I ever noticed, was like, wow, that's an awesome football name, Dick Butkus.
Yeah, right.
Right. That's it's unbelievable. It's just raw,
it's like it meant
pure
to be.
Football. I'm gonna kick your ass.
Yes.
My name is Dick Butkus.
Right. It's like he had no choice. Once they signed the birth certificate, they were like, God was like, all right, you got to play middle linebacker with that name. There's just no other form of business that anyone's going to accept you with that name. And the size of the human being and your head's the size of a sledgehammer. So, I'm with you there. Those are the top two at my list. All right, I'm going to go a little off the board into not as famous of a guy, but a great name. I mean, when you're a quarterback and your name is Chuck Long, I don't know. That was one of the first funny ones, right? Iowa, Detroit Lions, right? His career wasn't long, and I don't think he threw that many long passes, actually. But the name itself, when you're playing quarterback, is Chuck It Long. I mean, that's just unreal. It really is.
Mid-'80s, in that era where college football was starting to morph from the small handful of institutional great teams all the time. Others were getting an opportunity.
Yeah.
Iowa had a great year with Chuck Long as a starting quarterback. Oh, boy, I can go a lot of different directions here. I will go Conrad Dobler. I always loved that name, and he was the dirtiest guy around back in the 70s. Played for the then St. Louis Cardinals. Mustache, would stomp on your leg, bite you, allegedly. Conrad Dobler, the guy who was regarded as the dirtiest player in football back in the days when football was far more rough and tumble than it is today. Conrad Dobler.
Yeah, it's an amazing name. I mean, I learned about him. What commercials were those when I was young? Wasn't he on, what was it? Do you remember the beer commercials, Conrad Dobler?
The Miller Lite commercials?
Was it Miller Lite commercials, right? That's where I first, learned of Conrad Dobler. Yeah, great name. Really is. There's a lot of good ones out there. We got to make sure we rattle off some of these at the end. Jack Youngblood will be my third pick.
Yes,
Jack
well done.
Youngblood, I mean, come on. I mean, it's just a defense end guy that plays with a broken leg. He's like, so what? My blood's young. I'm going to keep playing. I'm going to go knock some blood out of that quarterback. I mean, just screams football, toughness, defensive lineman, classic name.
First and maybe only guy, along with his brother Jim, who had his full name on the back of his jersey.
Yeah, right.
I need to find an old Jack Youngblood jersey. Right. It said Jack Youngblood. I always thought that was so awesome. They both played for the Rams, and you couldn't do J. You couldn't do J because they're both J. So they said, what the hell? Jack Youngblood, Jim Youngblood. It was awesome. But yes, I met him at a Super Bowl one time, and it was maybe 7-10 years ago. I still think he could have kicked some ass then.
Oh, I'm sure he could have. He looks like it. Yeah, he looks like he's just a naturally big, broad-shouldered guy.
Last one for me, and then we're going to take a break. When I was looking up some great football names, this is a guy I'd never heard of. He played back in the days when I first discovered football. He was a kicker for the Eagles, and his name was Happy Feller.
That's amazing.
Happy Happy feller.
Until
I
he
don't
missed
know
the
how
field
happy
goal.
he was.
Yeah, right.
He didn't play for very long, so he must not have been very happy.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.